Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your breakfast bankroll for Tuesday, February 8th, 2022, as we get another day closer to Super Bowl Rams versus Bengals. A game that sticking at that 4.5 and 48.5, even with some big bets being thrown around. I'd say the next few days we'll stick around those numbers. Then people start coming into Vegas for the big weekend, and we'll be getting ready for the game. It's Super Week as a lot of friends and colleagues are enjoying Radio Row. And thank you so much for a few shout outs that I've heard while you guys are out there. Maybe next year, myself and Scott will be on Radio Row. Who knows? But a good day for us ECSI VIPs. One game, I like to say one and done. As we jumped on Texas +2, we bought the hook plus 110 around there on the money line. A game that Texas, other than the fact they were down 19-11 early, was leading at half 40-35, leading most of the second half, and then Kansas flexed its muscles. And then on my timeline, I started venting as usual because we can't close a game. We just can't close a game. But guess what, people? Texas ended the game on a 7-0 run and won the game. Imagine that. Won it outright. So hats off to the VIP crew. 1-0 to start the week, plus 1 unit. And if someone grabbed a little pizza and beer money, God bless you. But big slate today, big slate in the hardwood for the NBA, for the college ranks. There's some real good college games. Myself, I donated my tickets to the UConn crew. I can't get up to the XL Center today as UConn hosts Marquette in a real must-win situation for the Huskies. Just swamped. Will not get out of the studio at all today. At 2 o'clock, mark your calendars. Mr. Sean King, former Tulane quarterback, former Tampa Bay Bucks quarterback, now living in Vegas, working at VEASAN, will be on our show at 2 o'clock, and we'll be discussing the college ranks, the NFL ranks, and his thoughts on the Super Bowl and much more. But without further ado, let's bring in my co-host, the man from the Palm Tree State himself, the one, the only, Mr. Scott E. Webb. Scotty, my brother, what is happening?
Well, it is Tuesday morning, and it's good to come off of a 2-0 game for me last night with what was it? It was the over in the Miami-Washington game, and I played on the Oklahoma City against Golden State. Got 12.5, and they won. They lost by 12. So there you go. I got the hook that time, and then it paid off. So it's a good day.
I was seeing a lot of people cringing on the Phoenix game as well, where Phoenix was up big late, and then the other team scored like the last 12 points or 11 points in the last a minute and 40 for the backdoor cover. That's what happens, not just in college, in NBA. It's so hard. We talk about halftime and then the third quarter and the fourth quarter. Hats off to a 2-0 night for yourself. 1-0 for us. It's good to get off on the right foot to start the week, and it looks like there's some moves being made. Portland trading McCollum, it looks like, and a few others. You're going to start to see some more moves here as the NBA All-Star Game and the trade deadline gets closer. Who's buying, who's selling, and one of the hot trades is the free falling Brooklyn Nets, who Harden has come out and said publicly that he wants to go to free agency. Now Brooklyn talking about trading Harden to Philly for maybe Ben Simmons. And I opened up the board this morning, and the Celtics are 7.5-point favorites at Brooklyn today. What's the world coming to? But anyways, Scotty, it's Tuesday. Any opening thoughts for the listeners? And speaking of listeners, shout out to Mr. Lucky. I just booked my Vegas trip, Scotty. Look out. I got I think it's the 15th through the 18th. I'll be on the strip. That's a Tuesday through Friday. And then the next 2 full weeks, I'll be at one of my favorite spots at the Grandview, right across from South Point, to harass the VSiN crew, and to say hi to Jimmy Vaccaro, Chris Andrews. But I will be out there for almost 3 full weeks. So we'll be doing a lot of shows remote from Vegas, Scotty.
Well, don't get sunburn out there.
But the sad thing is the March trip. You for us, especially back east, we're dying for that warm weather. And I will guarantee you this: I will land and it will be about 75, 76 degrees. Then it's going to be low 60s and 70s till April 1st. If I come back on that Friday, where it'll be about 82, and it will tease me till I go back in July.
Well, I mean, when you go in July, it's 110, so it is what it is. I've been out there in July. It was just like, it was hot. Down here it's hot too, and it's hot all the time down here. But there's a difference, right? It's not 110 usually, and I guess the difference, everybody always says, "Oh, the humidity and blah blah blah." Well, you sweat down here because of the humidity. But when you go to Las Vegas, it's like sticking your head in the oven. It's just hot. And I mean, you don't necessarily sweat. It's not a sticky air. It's just hot air. It's like a blow dryer on you all the time. But whatever. I mean, you love hot weather or you don't. And, I like hot weather just because I don't want to be in that damn snow no more.
Well, it's funny. I always talk about my trips in July, and there's nothing better. You if you want to get some sun or you want to go swimming, you strategically plan to get out there at 7 a.m., 8 a.m. There's good times to get the sun, 9, 10, 11 out there. And then you come back around the 5, 6 o'clock hour. For myself in the July trip, I'm usually at the Rio watching the World Series of Poker and talking to some family, friends, clients, and stuff like that. But the funny thing is this, Scott, is I get outside around 9 a.m. and it's about 108, 109. And then around 8:30 p.m., it cools down to a 101 or something. But it's that dry heat, like you talk about here back east. We have that, 95 degrees and 100% humidity, and you walk outside and you just start sweating bullets. It's nice. When the wind blows, it's that warm, hot air. So I'm not complaining, but I've always said that my next step is to Arizona, and I guess I'll start complaining when I get out to Arizona if I end up making that power move.
Yeah, well, my son lives in Arizona, and their weather is way different than here. It's hot, but it's also cold. They get snow, and they have sandstorms that are a pain in the patootie, and they come up a lot. So anyway, it's just I guess weather everywhere is just whatever. It's just it's never perfect one way or the other unless you live in San Diego.
All right, I said a full board today. It's kind of for me on the college side, there's some great matchups. There's some eye openers as well, and for yourself on the NBA slate, pretty big slate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games in all. Anything overnight / early morning that's grabbing your eye?
Yeah, that Phoenix and Philadelphia game's a big game. I mean, obviously Phoenix just played last night and held off Chicago there. But this number looks like it's moving a lot. I mean, when I first plugged in numbers, it was -1.5, 216.5. Then it's -1, 217.5. And then I'm like, my AM look is, I like the over in that game. And now when I'm looking at the number, it's like 218.5. And the number's moving a lot. So if you like that game and you want to play that game over, I think you're going to miss out on the better numbers unless you play it early. So I would tell you that go ahead and play that game now over whatever the number is that you can get. And I played it at 217.5, but I don't know that that's going to count because I don't know that anybody can can get to 17.5 now. It looks like 218. Well, I guess if you go to win bet, you could get it, but I don't know if I should count it that way. But I'll count it as like 218 and a half, something like that. But play that game over the number. My numbers show 221. But the trend here is that the last 21 games that these two teams have played each other, the overs 15-5-1. Not that that's anything that I use to actually handicap the game. It's just something that I use to solidify the feeling that I have on the game. And in Philadelphia, it's 8-1 over that total. So Phoenix, Philadelphia over the number, I like. And then I skip down, and it's going to be as much as you can take here. We talked about it yesterday with some of these teams, and today it's Houston's turn. I like Houston plus the 8.5. I think it was 7.5, and now it's 8.5. And it looks like it's up to 9 in some places. So you can get Houston plus 9. And you don't have to play that yet. You can play that later. But I like that one. And the other only one I'm watching is the Minnesota game. Minnesota was 4.5, and now it's 5 at a lot of places. And again, that's that damn Sacramento team. So I'm sort of waiting on those. I've got some unders that I'm looking at too, but the unders haven't been coming in lately. They've been all over. So I'm hoping that some of these other numbers change a little bit and give you a little bit of perspective as the afternoon goes on. But I would tell you to play that over in the Phoenix and Philadelphia game now.
Just from the eye test for me, the NBA board looks real intriguing today. Obviously, Phoenix on a roll. It's almost like they're trying to bait you to take the Sixers here. The Celtics 7.5-point favorites over Brooklyn. Like, holy cow.
My number was 6.5 on that game.
Yeah. They're baiting you to take, obviously, Milwaukee tonight against the Lakers. Can you imagine an Orlando team favorite on the road? But that, again, is because I think Portland's trading McCollum and a few others there. So a big board there. Can't wait till we get back to 4:30 tonight and the closing bell, and we can go over what has transpired, through the rest of the morning and afternoon there. I'm going to go right down the college slate and then hopefully pick off a few NHL games as well. The first game on the board, a 6 o'clock start, rotation number 601, 602, is a North Carolina team traveling to Clemson. Clemson now opened at 1, now 1.5. A North Carolina team that, again, just can't catch its stride. Got bombarded over the weekend against Duke. And we talked about this yesterday, Scott. Duke hosted Virginia, and Duke obviously wasn't ready. A big letdown spot. They opened up at around 12-point favorites, closed at around 11. Virginia beats them outright. So North Carolina has not played well on the road at all, and here they come. It's a big game for them. Clemson, another kryptonite team for us. I would kind of sort of lean North Carolina in a bounce back spot here, but I will not be dabbling there. 2 games down is the game I talked about when we started the show. Marquette at UConn. UConn in a 2-game slide. Lost at home to Creighton and then got waxed by Villanova on the weekend. Opened up 5.5-point favorites, now 6 at Westgate. Ken Palm has them as a 5-point winner. They're not going to win the Big East. We know that, but they need to catch stride, and this is a must win for them. But Shaka and company had just been value here is on Marquette. But look for Dan Hurley and company to have the team ready and hopefully ready to pounce. If not, going to be a long night. Got some movement on rotation number 613, 614. Ohio at Toledo. This Ohio team is just rolling. I mean, we're talking winning by 20s and 30s. Opened up 4.5-point underdogs, already down to 3. soon to be 2.5 at DraftKings. Keep an eye on the Ohio team there. Rhodey at VCU. VCU opened at 6.5, now 5. 55% of the bets, 93% of the money on VCU. This is usually a road dog cover for this team. Rhodey is not the same Rhodey team, and VCU looking to catch some late conference stride here. But the public, actually, some reverse line movement on Rhodey. Keep an eye on Rhodey plus the 5 right now. Great game in the Big Ten. Shout out to our boy Mags. Wisconsin at Michigan State. Michigan State opened at 4.5, now down to 4. Our ECI was on Rutgers Saturday, a home dog versus Michigan State, and they blew them out second half. So Michigan State looking for a bounce back, but the public in reverse line movement right now on the Badgers plus the 4. Iowa State at West Virginia. West Virginia opened up at 1.5, staying at 1.5, and that's with 79% of the money. Bets, 99% of the money. So keep an eye on Iowa State today. Okie State at TCU. TCU opened at 3.5, now a flat 3. TCU's had a great year. Okie State a little up and down there. So numbers dropped from 3.5 to 3. Reverse line movement on Oklahoma State. Probably one of the marquee games of the night. Auburn, the number 1 ranked team in the country, who's struggling on the road their last 2 games. They've won, but they haven't even been close to covering. And over the weekend, I think they were about a 15-point favorite at Georgia and won at the buzzer. Today, they traveled to Arkansas. They opened up 2.5-point favorites, now 2-point favorites. 60% of the bets, 56% of the money coming in on Auburn, yet it's gone from 2.5 to 2. I think people thinking that number 1 might go down today. So keep an eye on Arkansas plus the 2. Kentucky travels to South Carolina. Kentucky is rolling right now. They just beat up on Bama over the weekend at Bama. Opened up 11.5-point favorites, now 11. I'm telling you, that number is high. Keep an eye on South Carolina plus the 11. But like you like to say, Scott, I'm going to say the same thing. Don't like to step in front of teams or trains that are rolling. That number's big for a reason. I think it will be competitive early, but Calipari's got the guys rolling, and going to be a tough outcome March Madness. LSU at A&M, another great game tonight. LSU, who is going in the wrong direction, opened up 2.5-point favorites, now 1.5 at Circa, 1.5 at South Point, yet receiving 52% of the bets and 82% of the money. So some reverse line movement on the home dog Aggies. Syracuse traveling to Boston College. Rotation number 647, 648. Don't know which Boeheim team you're going to get. They opened up 3.5-point favorites, now 4-point favorites. They're receiving 75% of the bets, 94% of the money. I initially would lean BC in the points here, just not knowing what Syracuse team you're going to get. But we will talk more about that game, obviously, at 4:30. All right, this game is intriguing to me. Rotation number 649, 650. Villanova travels to St. John's, an 8:30 start. Villanova opened at 6, dropped immediately to 4. I don't know if that's a correction, or I don't know if Vincenzo, if the Gillespie is going to play. I was going to say Vincenzo. Gillespie will be playing for Villanova. He tweaked his knee or ankle, I guess, late in the second half in the UConn game. So his status is questionable. But right now, St. John's plus the 4 at home seems like where people are leaning. Utah State at Wyoming. Wyoming is on a roll. They cashed for us over the weekend. They opened up 3-point favorites, now 1.5. So it looks like there's a strong following on Utah State plus the 1.5. Another eye-opener here. I told you guys this board is huge today in college. Indiana opens up at Northwestern as a 1-point dog. Don't know which Jekyll and Hyde team you're going to get from both sides, Indiana or Northwestern, but the opening number seems to lean that the Northwestern's going to find a way to get a win there. Michigan at Penn State, rotation number 655, 656. Michigan opened up 1.5-point favorites, now 2-point favorites. 66% of the bets, 69% of the money coming in on Michigan. I think Penn State's a dangerous home dog there. Butler and Creighton. Creighton laid an egg finally at Seton Hall, but they were rolling. They were rolling there. Illinois at Purdue. I mean, geez, Illinois opened up 6.5-point dogs. Now 6-point dogs. They're receiving 84% of the bets, 93% of the money. So some great value on Illinois there. Purdue is rolling, guys. Colorado State at Nevada. Colorado State opens up 5-point favorites, now 6.5 at Circa, 6 at Westgate there. UCLA at Stanford. UCLA coming off the triple overtime at Arizona State on the weekend. They opened up 7.5-point favorites, still 7.5. Stanford playing a lot better there, so keep an eye on that. Arizona manhandled Arizona State in the second half yesterday. And last but not least, St. Mary's of California at Santa Clara. St. Mary's opened up 2-point favorites, now 2.5-point favorites, yet Santa Clara receiving 69% of the bets, 64% of the money. So some reverse line movement on St. Mary's. Huge, huge slate. So, guys, turn on the notifications if you don't have them on. 4:30 at the closing bell is going to be a huge, huge afternoon for NBA and college hoops. And some quick NHL movement. Montreal opened up minus 125. Now they're minus 103. Some big movement on New Jersey, who lost last night at Ottawa, if I'm not mistaken there. Boston opens up minus 130, now 128 at home against Pittsburgh. Minnesota, who had opened up minus 130 at Winnipeg, now minus 150. We got a flip here. Vegas at Edmonton. Edmonton opened up minus 120. Now Vegas minus 112. And that's about it. It's a huge drop on Arizona, who opened up actually, let's correct that. Vancouver opens up minus 230 at home against Arizona. I don't know what they have an opening line of minus 310 Arizona. I would have ran to the window for that one. With Vancouver plus 250, that's obviously a mistake. Huge, huge board. A lot of action. Scotty, closing thoughts.
Yeah, it's with all this stuff that's going on today, you just gotta find what fits. I'm looking at a big board for the NBA, and I'm probably sitting only on one side or one spot. Whereas yesterday there was 5 games, and I liked 2 of them and maybe 3 of them, and I just didn't pull the trigger on Chicago. So, but at the same time, I stayed off of one of the games that lost. So I feel pretty good about where you're at. You don't have to play every game, but you do have to play every game where you think you have an edge. So it just depends on what you're looking at, what you feel like you're doing, and manage your bankroll right.
Yeah, it's really, really nice to get off on the right foot to start the week, but it's real easy on a board like today where there's so many games out there that geez, this is a kid in a candy store. And I tell you what, you can look at a board like on a Saturday where there's 158 games, and you might pick out 3, 4, 5. I know some guys that'll have 15 or 20, but you just sift through them. And the good note here is when you got boards that big, you can break them down. Okay, from 12 to 2, I like this. From 2 to 5, I like this, and such and such. In the college football and basketball Saturdays, a day like today, I mean, there are some amazing matchups. Don't get caught, all of a sudden on a Tuesday firing 5, 7, 9, 12 games today just because the board looks that great. When you have a menu like today, let's say this. Let's say you like 10 games, and let's say you're a dollar player. I'm not going to suggest that you go to the window and then put your bankroll at risk and invest $1,000 on a day like this. If you got 10 games you like and you can't, the spaghetti strain is not working. Drop those 100 down to 50, even quarters. They add up. I'd rather see you risk what if you're a dollar player and you're comfortable, playing anywhere from $2 to $4 a night, well, then break it down so you can do the same thing. If you had 8 games today, instead of betting $1 on those games, if you bet 50, you're still at that $4 mark for the night. So bankroll management, risk management is always important when it comes to midweek. Actually, it's not even midweek, Scotty. It's only Tuesday.
Yeah, and it's building into the Super Bowl. So you've got to and you just got to maintain. Don't lose your bankroll today, because if you can't play the Super Bowl, you can't play the conference tournaments, and then the Final Four and all that stuff. Then you're in. Holy shit! You're going to go back and go, holy crap! It was February the 8th. I lost my bankroll and I couldn't play all the shit I wanted to play.
We're going to do our own separate show with the props in the Super Bowl. I got to figure out a good time for both of us here to get that out there. Scotty, I was listening to our friends Brad Howe and Dave Sharapan yesterday. And when something smells, it's so hard to get off of it. For Cincinnati, I've talked at length about Money McPherson. The guy's got 12 field goals in the playoffs, hasn't missed. And if you watch his field goals, he had one that he kind of slipped it in, but the other 11 have been dead center. You want to smell some stench? I'll give you some stench. His under-over for made field goals on the Super Bowl is 1.5 minus 115 juice. Think about that for a second. 1.5 minus 115 juice. I mean, I'd be punching tickets to the opening kickoff right now.
Yeah. You got these good kickers. Both teams have good kickers in this game. The question becomes is how much do they really come into play in terms of field goals and extra points? So you saw the prop bets I sent you. I don't know if you read them or not yet, but I mean the interesting thing is what is your score going to look like? And my number is 30-21. So 30-21 means there ain't no field goals. So it kind of depends on gameplay a little bit, and I get the idea that he can kick and he's going to make the field goals, and it just really matters on whether or not he's going to get an opportunity to.
Yeah, and the bend don't break, the get into the red zone and settle for field goals a la Matt Ryan or someone like that, indoors, controlled environment. The fact of the matter is that both kickers have great legs. I know people are a little down on Gay because he kind of, kicked a couple fat, but this kid was automatic all year as well. But for them to just throw that prop up there, it's like enticing you. I talked on Wise Words yesterday. I think that there's a prop under over 55-yard field goal, and I could see either kicker, whether it's before the half or to end the game, to at least get a shot at something like that. But I just thought that was kind of intriguing. It's a carrot out there, and when it looks too good, it usually is. So I think you're right. I talked about that opening number, Scott, and the actual opening number was 51. And some had 50.5. It's down to 48.5. And I'm a firm believer every Super Bowl, one of those numbers, whether it's the game or the total, one of the sides is an automatic loss. So I'm sticking with the over. I think you get to that 51. I love your number. I really do. I love your 31-21. I think the total will be 51 or over, 52, 53. And I think every under ticket will be a loss come Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think that, there's, I guess I guess when it comes to the prop bets and how you kind of look at some of this stuff and the way I do it might be different than a lot of others. I was watching Sherapan the other day, and he was on a show, and they were talking about the 2-point conversion, whether there was going to be one and whether there wasn't. And if there was going to be one, it was like plus 114. Okay, well, it's plus money. You want to say there's going to be one. Okay, I don't mind the bet so much. But I don't really bet those kind of things. I want plus 150, 180, 190, 200, 500. I want to win one or two of those bets, and then my whole board's covered. And then go from there. So I don't want to have 45 bets out there on props. Because if I'm betting favorites on props, like that Cooper Cup favorite is moving. That line, that number of yards and number of catches is all moving. And yeah, I think there's some things you can do based off of the game flow. And one of them, I put in there was about T. Higgins. I think that T. Higgins is going to be a more productive wide receiver than Chase is going to be. So, and that's just based on matchups, because now you're going to have Ramsey covering the best guy on the team, and then that leaves the second best guy open, and he's going to get the ball. So an anytime touchdown for him is pretty good.
And I love T. Higgins. Azuma's vowing he's going to play, but I think you can use T. Higgins as your tight end. He's got the build for a tight end. I guess Samples will be the guy if Azuma can't go there. I think Tyler Boyd is a forgotten guy as well. That one prop that keeps sticking in my head, Scotty, and you were talking about the 2-point conversion, what Dave was talking. I rather really, really swing for the fences and go for the 8-point one drive for a guy. So in other words, he gets the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. And that's like
stuff like that. I mean, I think those are how you play the props in these games. But it also depends on whether you're playing the game and how much money you're putting on the props and what you're doing with them and how your bankroll looks and what you're trying to do with it. Because if you don't put enough money on a prop, then it doesn't help you either. Because you win this great big prop, but you win, you only put $5 on it or something, and you won 20. But you put $20 on every other bet. So that doesn't help you any. So it just is what it is when it comes to all this stuff.
Yeah, and I don't want to be sitting there with my plus 215 Rams to win the Super Bowl and play, 10 props at $20 a swing and lose all 10 props, and then my Rams victory goes down in flames because it just covered the 10 props.
Right, that's the whole point, right? I mean, so the props are supposed to be fun part of the game. And you just have to kind of pick and choose what you want to have fun with. I mean, these guys with the bet of the coin toss and the bet of the singing of the national anthem and how long it goes and all that stuff and the color of the Gatorade bath and all that stuff. I mean, you can bet whatever you want, but those you want to bet at parties and stuff like that, where you're only putting, a couple of dollars here and there and whatever. But I mean, people are putting hundreds of thousands of dollars on this stupid shit.
And speaking of the national anthem, the woman that's singing it, last time she sang, I think the under-over is 95 seconds, and it's usually 2 minutes or right over there. This woman is a quick one, and her name escapes me right now, but there was someone that was on social media yesterday, actually it was TikTok, and she broke down the last couple of times that this woman did it, and her very last time she came 9 seconds under the 95 seconds. So keep an eye on that. But we're going to cover all the props in the game itself. But listen, guys, the closing bell today at 4:30 is going to be smoking. There is so much to break down. But leading up to that, 2:00, if you guys are at lunch break or you have nothing better to do, turn on the notifications. Super stoked, excited to have Sean King on. We're going to be talking Tulane when he was there. We're going to be talking the Bucks when he was there. I'm going to talk about the transition, what got him to Vegas, what got him not just to Vegas, but to VSiN and how he's enjoying that. He does the late night show with Tim Murray, his thoughts on the Super Bowl and much, much more. So from myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from my co-host, Mr. Scott E. Webb at Webby. Jesus, the W's again, Scott, at Webby 20 MLB. We wish everyone a blessed morning and afternoon. And always remember this: if you are wagering or investing today, always wager responsibly. If you have a problem, pick up that phone. There's an 800 number available. Ask for help. Why? Because we care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. So everyone, have an amazing day, a great afternoon, and myself and Scott will catch you at the closing bell at 4:30 today.